Hi everyone. Okay, so this is a quick overview of my online classroom that I created on Schoology. Students would start here at the introductory activity where they are going to create this Voki. It's like a mini character and introduce themselves, and then they're going to post it, and they're going to start with this. Once they start with this and post it, where I included all my directions about how to access the Voki and then how to submit it, then they are going to be able to go through these first two folders, which just talk about general information about me, about the course, how to navigate, figure out a little scavenger hunt to make sure they know where everything is, look at all the policies. Everything is in those first two folders that they need to know about the class. From there, the overall structure of this course is in these lesson folders. So in every lesson folder, what we have is a discussion for just any general questions that they want to ask me or any of their peers. From there, they will go through, depending on the lesson, if it's heavy on vocab. So for example, this first lesson has a lot of vocab in it. The first assignment here is just about vocabulary, and what it says is that these are all the vocab words that you need to be able to identify by the end of this lesson. Okay, so after you go through all of the examples, you should have a complete Quizlet flashcard set of all of these vocab words. And then they're going to submit that Quizlet set. This just checks to make sure they're going through all the examples, they are grasping the material, and staying on pace with the schedule. So like I said, that will only be included in a lesson if it's heavy on vocab. Like for example, lesson 2 is not heavy on vocab, it's more heavy on procedure, so there isn't a flashcard assignment in lesson 2. But that would be one of the first assignments. From there, there's always going to be a let's set goals, like using air quotes, quiz. And this quiz is always, I can show you, is always just one question, but it's like a multiple choice or a matching. And by the end of this lesson, they're going to be able to answer all 5 of these questions. These 5 questions come from the 5 main examples that students are going to be learning about in this lesson. So maybe they know some of this and they don't need to focus a lot on those examples. This kind of targets, okay, if I didn't get standard form, I need to make sure that when I go through the examples, that I focus a lot on standard form. So they're not going to necessarily do well. This is like their pre-quiz. Once they get this, once they finish this, then they're going to, then they're going to post always. This is like something that they'll get a routine in doing in every lesson, beginning of every lesson. In the personal goals, they're going to make a post, they'll earn points for this, about the questions that they got incorrect on the quiz. So I gave them little prompts. It says by the end of the lesson, I will be able to, could be identify the standard form of a polynomial, something like that. I will understand how to, and they're going to make at least 2 sentences. Maybe even though they just got one wrong, they'll need to, summarize it a little bit in depth. This is for them to really get a good target of their needs in the lesson before they even dive into the lesson. Okay, so after they do that, then they can continue or start really the lesson. So you'll notice there's pages that include content, and then after each content is a little assessment. So these assessments vary, and the types of content vary. So this is more of an activity that students are going to, like a discovery activity, that they're going to use Desmos and discover the shape of graphs. Sometimes the examples include them comparing and contrasting sets of expressions and taking notes and understanding, different vocab words. I have also included little phrases in here. It says, now you'll be able to complete terms 3 to 7 on the Quizlet. So by the end of this lesson, they're going to be able to hit 4 vocab words. So once they do, everything has to be done in order, and I would have student completion set on this, but I didn't want it to be set because then you wouldn't have been able to view everything. Anyways, then they will be doing some kind of assessment. So here, basically in the example, list 1 was correct, and now they get to pick an expression in list 2 and change it, write it in standard form, identify the following, and then also explain. So they're submitting a screencast here. That's what this assignment is. Let's go through some other ones. So here's a video that I made on how to learn about end behavior. So they're going to watch this this video on end behavior and then complete this quiz, or then they'll be able to finish the Quizlet. Here's another video that I created, and then this activity. Okay, so it kind of goes between different types of examples and then different types of assignments. So here's the first independent assignment. They are creating an infographic about one function that I'm going to give them. Okay, so that's basically lesson 1. I'm trying to go over some main things here. So they have to set goals. At the end of lesson 1, they're going to see that same exact lesson assessment from the beginning about set goals. So now they should be getting 100, right? Because they went through all the examples. Now they'll get 100. Then they'll take a quiz. So this is the quiz, the assessment that includes 5 different types of questions. So there is a short answer, there's true and false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, matching. Everything's in there. This example of lesson 1 demonstrates my folder that has at least 3 instructional materials into one lesson. My lesson 2 folder does the same. Let me go to show you lesson 2. Lesson 2 folder has exactly the same. Something about an example, complete these assignments. Example, assignments. The group assignment is at the end of lesson 2, where they're going to be in groups of 3, and there's a Google Doc that explains the instructions, and then also includes the rubric. Okay, so it's heavy on collaborating and communication. There's the first person in the group is going to write a total of 4 expressions, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And then there's going to be someone to solve the adding and subtracting ones, and then someone to solve the multiplying and dividing ones. Then they're going to produce some kind of presentation, whether it's PowerPoint, Prezi. They can pick whatever method of presentation, but it doesn't matter because in the end they're completing a screencast to display and explain their work. Okay. So that's the group assignment where they are really responsible. I pointed it out down in the rubric. Their own part is only worth 28% of the grade. So they need to make sure everyone is on the same page, everyone knows what they're doing before they submit it, because it's a total group effort here. And then the last thing is the discussion board. Okay, the discussion board is in, let me go back here, is in lesson 2, and this is the discussion. It's assignment 2, subtracting polynomials discussion board. So along with the discussion board of where they can ask questions, this is a graded discussion board where it's one of the assignments after the example 2 on adding and subtracting polynomials. Basically, this is something that's done incorrectly. Their discussion post needs to be on explaining the mistake that was done, how can you teach someone to avoid that mistake, and then after they make that post, they need to comment on at least two other posts about something they liked about their explanation, or following up with a question, or asking them to clarify something about their post. What I did love about this discussion board was the feature to do this down here. Members can see other responses before participating. So I have that turned off. I want them to be able to create their own response first without, getting the answer from a different post. It is objective where they can change it and answer it in their own words. So I really want to have students achieve that before reading other posts. And then once they make their post, then they'll be able to comment and maybe learn something from another post. That's a goal. So there's tons of media, tons of different images and hyperlinks to different interactive Web 2.0 tools within this course. There's a game in lesson 2 that students can complete. It's a battleship game. After they take notes and learn about adding and subtracting polynomials, they're going to complete this game and screenshot their results and submit their notes. Basically, I can go through really fast. And you try to find a target basically. And I'm not doing too well at that, but once you do, then you have to add and subtract polynomials. Okay, so that's really cool. So just different media is included throughout this course. And my references are all listed in my general information folder. There's references there. Okay, I'm really excited to share this with students. You can see my gradebook is all ready and set up with all of the assignments in this course. Thank you for watching.